All right, hey everybody, Chad Sarno here from Good Catch Foods. Today we're gonna be celebrating New England style holidays. So nothing says holidays to me more than a fried seafood platter. Keeping it vegan, of course. We got some Good Catch fish fillets. We got some crab cakes. We're gonna be making some calamari out of mushrooms, some scallops out of mushrooms paired with some sauces. This is gonna be amazing, you guys. Stay tuned. Okay, so we're gonna be starting off by making a seafood broth, okay? It's kind of like a seafood stock. We have some water in here. I have some seaweed. You can choose kombu, you can choose nori. Nori tends to fall apart quite a bit. You can use kombu. We're gonna make a seaweed stock here. So I'm using some dulse here. So I'm just adding some dulse. I have some garlic, okay? I'm just gonna slice that up, throw that in. All right, and this is just making a flavorful liquid that I'm gonna pour over these mushroom scallops that we're gonna make in a minute, and a little bit of salt, okay? So I'm gonna bring that up to a simmer, let that sit for about 5 minutes, gonna really take in a lot of that flavor. I'll strain it, I'll put it back on the heat, and that's what we're gonna sort of poach the scallops in, all right? So we're gonna end up prepping the scallops and prepping the calamari, all right? So what we have here is we have some king oysters, king oyster mushrooms, all right? There's a number of ways that you can make this. So I love this recipe. We're gonna be pairing this with our breaded products. So we got a breaded fillet we're gonna deep fry. We have some breaded crab cake. These are gonna go perfect on a full platter. It's gonna be a feast, you guys. So there's a couple ways to make the scallops, okay? So one, you could just cut them, okay? I like to use a apple corer here, okay? So you can take a couple different size mushrooms. Let's just take this right here. This can be a smaller scallop, so I have an apple core. And all I'm doing with this is basically pressing all the way through. Hold please, you guys. This one's like broken, hold on. If your apple core does not work, and it turns out to be broken, you can also use ring molds, okay? And then you can also work with all different sizes of mushrooms, all right? So I'm just gonna check out the size that I want here, cut those up. And these are gonna be half my scallops, okay? Trim that up. All right, so we're gonna start gathering some of those scallops. This is also gonna be my calamari. Okay, the rounds are the calamari, and the other pieces are the scallops. So we're gonna set some of those aside. So these are king oysters. You can get these at any kind of natural food stores. Mushrooms are becoming more and more available, especially wild mushrooms. So once you actually cut these up, there's all these little scraps of mushrooms. I will keep those and I will definitely saute with them. Okay, so I'll saute with those. I'll throw them in pasta, just have them on the side with some rice. Really, really nice. So I'm gonna shut that off. That's all you need is just for it to simmer for just a little bit here. We're gonna strain that in just a moment. So growing up in New England, one of the traditions that we had was going over to my grandmother's, and every Christmas Eve, all my cousins would be there. They would all be coming in from the local towns. We would celebrate the holidays together with a huge feast. And one of the courses was always fried seafood. So my great uncles and my grandpa would always be in the basement frying seafood. I don't know why they chose the basement and not outside. We would have fried scallops, fried smelts, which are these small little fishes typically used for bait in most parts of the world. But we would have that. We would have fried shrimp and fried calamari, and those were part of the feast, and it was just so nice, not because of the food itself, but because it brought our family together, you know what I mean? So they would cook this down in the basement, and it would just be a celebration of food, celebration of family every holiday season. So it was really, really nice, and definitely a memory that has stuck with me. So I have some scallops here. Okay, that's about all we need right now for this. We also have some calamari. Also, typically when you get some calamari, you're also getting the pieces, okay? So there's rings, but there's also pieces of the squid itself. So I have some clustered mushrooms, okay? So I'm just gonna tear some of these up. These are a oyster mushroom, okay? And it just kind of mixes up the shape a little bit. These are a little bit more delicate, so you get the rings being a little bit chewier, okay? So they're gonna be a little bit more of a texture there. And the petals from those mushrooms are going to be a little bit more delicate, a little more tender. And again, if you're not making these mushroom calamari to add to it, and you're just doing scallops, you literally can just slice the base of these mushrooms, the stem of these mushrooms, and go from there. All right, so that is good to go. So now that this has come to a simmer, I'm gonna strain this. I'm gonna put it back in the pot once it's strained, and we'll just bring it back to heat. All right. So I've just strained that out. That is a beautiful color for that seaweed stock that we just made. I'm just gonna drop those those mushroom stems in there, and this is what we're just gonna let those soak for a minute. That's gonna pull up a little bit of the flavor. It's also gonna make them a little bit more tender as they're fried, okay? So let's make a couple other components here. So I'm gonna bread these 2 different ways, all right? So scallops typically have a thicker breading. The ones that I'm used to growing up have a thicker breading. What my grandma did was she dredged them. She put some flour in a bowl, usually an egg wash, and then either breadcrumbs or more flour. I'm gonna do a similar thing, but instead of the egg wash, we're gonna make a buttermilk. So I have some non-dairy milk. Easy way to make buttermilk is about 1 cup to a teaspoon of vinegar. We're gonna let that sit for a minute. It's gonna curdle a little bit, it's gonna thicken up, and that's gonna be the sort of egg wash that I'm gonna be using, okay? All right, so this has been sitting for a little while. It is curdled, it's thickened up. That's good to go. I don't do anything else besides make that as the buttermilk, all right? Next thing, I'm gonna start off with some flour. Okay, so this first flour, I don't really season, I season the last one, okay? So I'm just doing some plain flour here, and I'm gonna season this flour at the end. All right, so I have some plain all-purpose flour, I have some paprika, I have some onion granules, and I have some garlic granules. I also have some salt, okay, and some pepper, and that is good to go. You can add also some Old Bay in there if you wish. I like to just use paprika here with these other items. I want to make sure it's nice and seasoned. What I also do is I also season after they're fried. So I will toss them with a little bit of flake salt, a little bit of parsley afterwards before I serve them. So just kind of stirring that up. All right. So now that those are done, we're gonna end up dredging those in just a moment, all right? Next, we're gonna make some sauces, all right? So we're gonna make some sauces that pair really well with these seafood items. So basic tartar sauce, super simple, you guys. Okay, so you got some relish or chopped pickles, some mayo. You can add some horseradish to this. You know, we have a classic fish burger, and I love pairing that with a horseradish tartar sauce. It's what we traditionally do with all of our tastings and how we showcase that product. But this is just a basic one. I have some black pepper in there. I have some green onion in here as well. I'm gonna slice up. All right, a little bit of green onion in there. This tartar sauce is ready to go. That is it. Okay, so let's set that aside. I love a good tartar sauce. All right, set that aside. Next one, we're going to make a simple cocktail sauce. So I have some ketchup. I also have some horseradish, some prepared horseradish. I also like making this a little bit spicy, so I have some sriracha, okay? Some sriracha. And that is it. And I like a little speck of green in there. You can add a little bit of chive, you can add a little bit of parsley, but I have a little bit of green onion left. And slice some of that up. And this is a simple tartar sauce. We also make a creamy tartar sauce, adding a little bit of mayo in there. Vegan mayo. It is amazing paired with our breaded crab cake. So we're gonna set these sauces aside. Okay, we're gonna serve those with those sauces. I'm gonna bring this up to heat now. Okay, so this is an oil. So what we have here is a vegetable oil. I like to bring it up to about 350, 375. I would say 360, 375 is the sweet spot when it comes to frying our product and also frying these mushrooms as well. So we're gonna bring it up to heat. Easy way to tell is definitely have a thermometer on hand if you have one. And that way you can get a precise reading of exactly what the temp is. So I never put an oil on high heat. I'll always put it on a low to medium heat, around medium, until it actually comes to heat, all right? So that'll take a couple minutes. I'm gonna move these over. I'm gonna transfer these into bigger bowls just so they have more surface. So I have some plain flour. You can season this a little bit if you want. You don't have to. I have some plain flour, and I'll have that seasoned flour as well. You can put panko in here. You can put breadcrumbs also, which is quite nice. If you want a different texture, I really like just flour. You can add a little bit cornmeal also. All right, so we have those scallops. Those have been poached. You can save the seaweed broth if you wish, use it again. I'm just gonna strain these, pour that in a little container. These have been slightly poached, so that is our scallops. So we can do the scallops first, all right? So we're gonna add these mushrooms. I'm gonna toss these up. Make sure you get a good coating, okay? And then once you get a good coating, we're gonna do the same thing over here in the buttermilk. So what I like to do is I like to keep one hand dry and one hand wet. I like that these are all different sizes as well. It's gonna add some nice texture to that full platter. Okay, so I'm just gonna toss these up after these have a nice coating. Okay, so what I like to do is I will use a strainer, okay? And I will just toss these up and I get all the excess flour, okay? That way we can save it for the next batch. So you're coating those well, all that excess flour. We're gonna end up setting these aside and they'll be ready to fry. Okay, so they're gonna set that aside. All right, I'm gonna do the same thing with some of that calamari. There's mushroom calamari. Okay, all different sizes again. Just tossing those up. Just want a light dusting on those. Those are going right into that buttermilk. So I put the flour on here so it actually sticks. So the breading sticks. Otherwise you get that breading that just really falls. You know, you can go any sort of flavor after you bread these and fry them. You could drizzle them if you want to go a little Asian style with a little bit of ponzu, some green onions. That's a really nice appetizer. But today we're just going to be serving them with the tartar sauce and the cocktail sauce. All right, those are done. We're going to set those aside. All right, so I'm just going to toss these up with the flour. Make a nice mess. All right, let's grab my bowl. Gonna make sure that those are nice and coated. Oh, these are beautiful. Don't be afraid to get messy. That's what cooking is all about, you guys. It's getting as messy. This is why I'm okay with kids in the kitchen with me, because I usually like to make a mess in general. The kids add the next layer of mess. But this is definitely something that I would have my kids help me with around the holidays. All right, these are good to go. We're gonna add those right next to those mushroom scallops. So we have these ready to fry. All right, so we have the items that are ready. You get those mushroom scallops, we get those mushroom calamari. Let's just check the temp on this, see if we need to lower it. All right, so there we have around 370, 375. That's what we're looking for temp. Let's get these going, let's get these frying. I like to use one of these. So we have the star of the show, okay? So we have the breaded fish fillet. This is gonna be the feature of this fried seafood platter. And then we have the breaded crab cake. You guys, these are amazing. If you guys haven't tried these products, they're incredible products. So they're made out of a 6 legume blend, as all of our products currently. And these just launched early this year. And there's 4 of these bad boys per package, 2 of the fillets. I'm gonna do 2 and 1. Okay, I'm gonna do 2 and 1 of these. And we'll cut the fillet. But this fillet is so nice, just in a sandwich with some tartar sauce and a squishy bun. So good, you guys. So let's do 3 of those, because that is a nice portion. I'm gonna save these for the next round. So we're gonna deep fry these. Let's get these going. These are gonna take the longest to fry. You know, these are fresh, these are frozen, so these are gonna take a little bit longer. So we're gonna drop those in. And these do not need to be thawed out. You just drop them right in the hot oil. I'm just gonna put the crab cakes in just for a couple minutes. You don't wanna overload the oil because it's gonna cool down the oil really fast, okay? We're gonna let those fry up for about 4.5 minutes, something like that. All right, so these crab cakes have been in for about 2 minutes. Let's drop that fillet now, okay? Fillet takes a little bit less time than the crab cakes. All right, so whenever I'm frying, I always have a landing, whether that landing be paper towels on a plate or a cookie rack, okay? So I'm just gonna set this aside. This is gonna be my landing for all of this. Makes it a little bit easier during cleanup when you actually add a little paper towel or a towel under the draining rack. All right, so this fillet has been in there 4.5 minutes or so. These crab cakes, close to 6 minutes. Let's pull those out. Okay, we're just gonna set those on. So if you are frying a bunch of different products that are going on your feast, okay, you can actually put the oven on warm, just pop them in the oven. That way they can stay nice and crispy, nice and hot right before you serve. So let's move on to scallops and calamari, okay? Now this is gonna be fairly quick. This is only gonna be a couple minutes, okay? I'm just gonna drop in a few of those. All right, let's just get all that calamari in there. That mushroom calamari. While that's frying, we'll get the other garnishes. So I have some lemon wedges. You wanna make sure that you definitely serve your platter with lemon wedges. All right, let's finish this with a little drizzle of lemon. It's so nice. I'm also gonna do the same thing with some parsley. We're going to just pluck off some of those leaves when this is done as well. All right, let's check those out. We want those a nice golden color. Oh, you see that? That's looking so good. These are gonna be delicious, you guys. All right, these have been frying for a couple minutes. Look at that, nice and crispy. Oh, these are beautiful, look at those. Okay, so we're gonna let those drain. We're gonna bring that back up to heat. Okay, just let it sit for a moment, and then we're gonna drop in those scallops. All right, that is brought back up to heat. We're gonna drop those mushroom scallops. And because these were already poached, you've taken that first step of cooking these a little bit, so you're really just frying these till they're crispy, all right? All right, so let's check those out. So we have that calamari that's been draining. We're gonna put those in a bowl. I'm just gonna toss them with a little bit of sea salt, a little bit of parsley before we put these on a platter. Make some room for those scallops. Look at those, golden, crispy, absolute deliciousness right there. Gonna let those drain for a moment as well. All right, so let's move that out off the heat. Let's grab those scallops up. All right, so we're gonna add a little bit of sea salt. We're gonna add some of that parsley in there. Just gonna toss that up. All right, let's plate this up. So we have a platter. We have both of those sauces. So I have some tartar sauce, that basic tartar sauce that we just made. We have that beautiful spicy cocktail sauce as well. This is gonna be so nice, so nice. All right, so let's start off. Let's put that fillet in. Okay, a couple of the crab cakes. We're just gonna arrange this however you wish. Let's toss those up. Look at that, so good. Look at this, talk about gorgeous New England fried seafood platter. You guys, this is gonna be the absolute jam. Look at this, add some lemon to that. Look at that, so beautiful, so delicious. This is absolute holiday comfort right here, you guys. New England style holiday fried seafood feast featuring our fish fillet, our breaded crab cake, mushroom calamari, and also some mushroom scallops in there, paired with some cocktail sauce and a basic tartar sauce. You guys, you don't want to miss this. I cannot wait to dig in here, you guys. This says holidays all over it. I'm gonna try one of those. Oh, that was good. You guys, I'm Chad Sarno. This is Good Catch Cooks. You're gonna love this. I sure do. Happy holidays, everybody.